Hello, beautiful souls. I come to you today to share a story on manifestation, intuition, receiving guidance from the universe, from spirit guides, from ancestors, God, Source, whatever you choose to call it. So, there was one day I went to a sound bath, and um, I had heard the instructor talk about wanting to do an event at a local hot springs. I was like, oh, that's cool information. Didn't think much of it. I was supposed to meet with friends later that day, and they canceled. And I was like, oh, okay. I was with another friend at the time, and I was like, hey, do you want to hang out? And they were like, no, I have things to do. I was like, okay. So I got home, and I was in a state where I believed, and I still do, that when I was home alone, that there was a reason to be alone, that there was something to be learned, something to be gained from that aloneness. So I thought on it, and I was like, well, I don't want to be home. So I went and got in my car, and um, something about me is that sometimes when I need a break, I need to think, I need to relax, I'll just go for a drive. So I got in my car and went out to my road, and there were cars going all that way. So I turned right. I just kept following the path of least resistance. And I drove for a while, and I came upon some food places. I was like, oh, I enjoy that food. Is that what I want right now? I thought on it and came to the conclusion I didn't want to eat in my car. I didn't want to take the food and go home. I didn't want to eat at the restaurant. So I just kept going, following what felt good in the moment, not worrying about where I was going to go because this was something I did. You know, I knew I'd be able to turn around and go home at any point. So I just kept driving. Eventually, I reached the intersection that would lead to my parents' home, where I have a little dog that I love, and I love my parents. But I thought to myself, I don't really want to go there right now. Perhaps later, I'll go there. So I kept going. Eventually, ended up in another state, and it had been about an hour at this point, and I saw a sign for a place that I was like, that sounds like a hot springs. So I took the road that pointed me to, drove. I ended up on this windy road, no people, no other cars, just me. It was very, it was just nice, you know. I think I was listening to a book at the time. It was very peaceful, very relaxing. Eventually, I found a sign next to a dirt road that was for the hot springs that I had heard about earlier that day. So I was like, oh, I know that's a hot springs. And it's only 3 miles away at this point. So I turned down this little dirt road and just start going down it. Eventually, I see it in the distance, and I realize I've actually seen this place before. Um, I had been past it with my family, and they had talked about having a family camp there. And I remembered they mentioned that this place likes reservations, so I pull over in sight of the place, but not there yet. And I pull out my phone, and I'm starting to try and loading up their website, seeing if I can book a reservation, see if they have openings. And right then my car beeped at me to be like, hey, you have low fuel. I knew then that I had one of two choices, well, three. One was to turn around, go to a gas station, so that I'd be okay. The other was to sit there and deliberate on it. And the other was to just go there and see what would happen. I knew that the most dangerous option was to stay and do nothing. that that was the only option that would actually put me in jeopardy. And I was so close to the springs that I was just like, well, let's just go there. It doesn't put me in greater jeopardy to go, and I don't really want to turn around after coming this far. So I choose to go to the springs, pull into their parking lot. I walk in the building, and I'm like, hello. Um, my intuition brought me here. I don't have a swimsuit. I didn't know I was going to be here. Um, can I go into the springs? And they were like, well, yes. They had an hour until they closed. Um, one of the attendants was like, I'll go check our lost and found for a swimsuit. He leaves, comes back with 2 double XL swimsuits. And I'm like, perfect. I grabbed one of them, put that on. I don't have a towel. I literally just have the clothes on my back and now this double XL swimsuit. I go sit in the hot springs for an hour. I did energy work on myself, and it was magical to me that I could leave my home without any plan and end up in nature, soaking in hot water, meditating, being peaceful, restful. Closing time comes, I get out, I go wash up, put my clothes on while still wet, and I'm holding this double XL swimsuit, and I'm like, I don't really want a double XL swimsuit. It's not something I need, it's not something I want. I come to the conclusion that either I will leave it on a wooden bench outside or I will give it to an attendant if I see them. So I leave the changing rooms, start walking to my car, to the benches, and I see the attendant that actually brought me my swimsuit. So I go up to him and I'm like, hey, can I give this to you? And he's like, yeah, sure. And he had just been sitting on those wooden benches. And I get to talking to him a little bit, and I tell him about my journey there. I even tell him that I was low on fuel, and he offers to give me some fuel. And he had actually been dealing with he was a teenager, and he had been dealing with people telling him that his problems um, were small, that they shouldn't, trouble him. But the thing is, they were troubling him, and I just, affirmed to him that your troubles, your problems are real. That just because they may not seem big to others doesn't mean they aren't big to you, and that fighting that only creates more distress in your body. And we finish our talk. I receive some gas and I make it to the gas station just fine. And then I make it home again just fine. And I'm like, what a cool journey that was for me. I left without any plan. I was provided for everything I needed in the moment. It wasn't the most glamorous thing, but like, I was fine. I was more than fine. I felt really good that day. And it was the first lesson into me that following the path of least resistance, following what felt good in the moment that it felt good, led to a positive result and outcome. I know this story has helped others, and I hope it helps you in this time. Remember that you are loved. Know that in those moments where you don't feel much love, that even in the attempt to love yourself, you are loving yourself. That when you make time for yourself, that is loving yourself. When you make yourself food, when you watch a show, when you read a book, go for a walk, when you do the things that invigorate and revitalize you, the things that feel good to do, that is actively loving yourself. And you deserve it. It is your birthright to be loved. And you are always, in some small way, being loved. I'm just now wondering if there are any of my cards that would like to speak to you. I think the animals here would like to share a message with you. Does anyone like to come out and speak? We have the hawk. Let's see. There we go. The hawk, messenger. Spirit is sending you messages. Open your greater vision to see signs, focus on priorities, and eliminate distractions. You have a bright future. Let yourself ascend to new heights. Do we have anything from here? We have the mentor. This is a card. In this instance, it speaks to me that there is a presence in your life that is teaching you the lessons that you are needing to know in this time. You are being guided and watched over by Spirit. Sometimes that takes the form of another person. Sometimes that takes the form of plans that fall through. Know that when you are following the path of least resistance, that is communication from Spirit on what you need in that time. Being alone isn't bad. It can be one of the most magical times of your life because it's an opportunity to follow your greatest excitement and passion. There is beauty in stillness. I want to share with you a meditation practice that comes from Reiki. We place our hands like so, pressing your fingers together. Find the point of greatest pressure between your hands. For me, that's here. Sometimes it's this, sometimes it's both, sometimes it's others. Do not worry, whatever feels right. Find that point. Focus on that point. If thoughts come to your mind, noises or distractions come, acknowledge them. Gently bring your focus back to that point. thank you for being here with me today. Find some form of meditation that works for you. If this feels good to you, or any form that you find, try to practice it daily. It does not matter if it is for 10 seconds, 10 minutes. What feels good and right, what feels good. Remember, feeling good is our goal. Feeling peace is our goal. If you try to begin and you find it is hard to do, it is okay to stop. We want to build gentleness, play, excitement over time. It does not need to be immediate, so long as each day you try to bring in that love for yourself a little bit more, day by day, minute by minute, second by second. And the more you do this, the more it will grow. I will tell you that 3-4 years ago, I was not as you see me now. I was full of anxiety, fear, anger. The world confused me, it upset me. And it took just these small moments of time of allowing myself to be in the present moment, not borrowing my troubles from the future and not finding anxieties in the past. Allow yourself to be here, now, because that's where you live, is in the now. The future will be the future, and the past will be the past. But they do not have to rob from your now. Thank you once again, and I hope to see you again soon.